What's up, everybody? So once again, just real quick, like the last video, the only way for me to really make money off this channel is through Cash App. So I'm gonna pin that donation link in the comment section, and help your boy out so I can make something off this channel. Like I said, $5, $10, 20 if you're feeling real generous. Trick or treat, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But so anyway, this is gonna be another paranormal video. Like I said, I'm just gonna do all paranormal videos for the rest of this month, because I got quite a few of them, anyways, of my own paranormal experiences. From growing up, pretty much a large part of my life since I was a kid. I've always been sensitive to that sort of thing. So I've always had a kind of a real curiosity for paranormal stuff. But so anyway, this is oh, real quick, don't forget to hit like, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a follower. And of course, welcome back to all my subscribers and to any new listeners out there. Um, so this experience happened like probably, I would say, like around 2013, 2014 maybe. And it was really interesting because this experience was basically like a legend, or like a story that was told in my hometown from, like, since as far back as I can remember. Like when I was a kid, I remember hearing the story that in a certain area where there was like I mean, back when it happened, it was a dirt road, but of course, like, by the time I was hearing about it, it was a paved road, and there was like a pretty good amount of like businesses and stuff around it. But basically, the story was, if you drove through this certain road, like after midnight, I think it was between midnight and 3 a.m. You could see the ghost, the spirit of this man running across the road that I guess had gotten hit by a car, like running across the road late at night. And I don't know why the dude was running across the road, or if he was jogging or what he was doing, but that was the story. Like if you drove on this road late at night, there was a good chance you would see his spirit like running across the road, right? So like so when I got like to high school, me and some of my friends, like, of course, like on several different occasions, we would drive down that road late at night, and we had friends that lived out in that area. Anyways, like I talked about before in one of my other videos, I had a lot of friends that lived in Ocotillo, Arizona. Like the Pueblo, like Yaqui Indians, and this road is like basically leads to Ocotillo, to Ocotillo, Arizona. And so anyway, so like we had a kind of a built-in excuse for traveling on that road late at night, anyways, because we were always partying out there. And so we were always looking on the lookout for this ghost. But just like with most paranormal, things like that, it never happens when you're like looking for it, or just trying to expect it, I guess. So like, many years went by, and I kind of like forgot all about that. And then one night, a friend of mine had called me, and it wasn't even that late at night. It was maybe like around, like, I say about 10:45 when I headed out that way, because a buddy of mine had called me, because there's a big park out there, like, and there's a bunch of softball fields, and they have like softball tournaments and stuff. And some of them, like run kind of late into the night. And a buddy of mine had told me, like, hey, why don't you come out and watch the end of my softball game, and give me a ride afterwards. So I wasn't doing nothing. So I was like, all right, cool, man. So I remember I picked him up uh, after sat and watched a little bit of his game, and then we're driving back, and we were headed north on this particular road that I'm talking about, and so like we're driving, and then all of a sudden like I just saw like this blur, like from the corner of my eye, from like the right side. I saw this blur of like a man like running across the road, but he like all it was just like his top half, and then like the bottom half just kind of disappeared, like below like the I guess like where his legs would connect to. Like I couldn't really see any legs. It was just like a blur, like from the waist down basically. And he just kind of like he ran out in front of my truck like that really quick, and I slammed on the brakes and I yelled "fuck" like that. And my buddy, man, he got scared. He's like, what? Because he kind of like hit the dash with his hands, and he's like, what, man, what? And I was like, dude, you didn't just see that fucking man that just ran across the road? And he was like, no, man. He's like, I didn't see nothing, bro. He's like, you're scaring the shit out of me because my friend, he's a brother, and the brothers, man, they don't be liking to hear no paranormal stuff, man. They be getting scared, I know because I grew up in the projects, and we used to always like to scare them with supernatural stories about the Llorona and the Lechuza and all that stuff, and they used to always tell us, man, why y'all Mexicans always got to tell them scurry stories, about the Llorona and La Chichusa. They could never say the words right, but they would always get, scared as fuck, right? But anyway, so scared the fuck out of him. He didn't see nothing, but it scared him because I slammed on the brakes, and I yelled, like I thought I was gonna hit something, right? So, anyways, about 2 months later, me and wifey and my son are driving through that same exact area, um, but this time my lady's driving, and I'm in the passenger seat, and I don't remember if it was probably around the same time, but it might have even been a little bit later, like closer to midnight or something. But I think that part of the legend or whatever wasn't completely accurate. Like I don't think it obviously didn't need to be past midnight or between midnight and 3 a.m. because the time when I saw it, it was like maybe about 10:45 or 11, a little bit past 11 or something like that. And then this other time was after midnight, but like I said, wifey was driving, and I wasn't even thinking about that. So it wasn't like I suggested it to her or anything like that. Like we were just cruising, right? And all of a sudden, she like yelled like, "Oh my God!" And she like kind of swerved and hit the brakes. And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "I thought I just saw a man run out in front of the car." And I just look at her. I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I thought I just saw a man, but it was like so fast, like a blur." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "That's crazy." So then I started telling her about what happened to me and my homeboy, like how I thought I saw him. And we were just tripped out, like scared the shit out of us, right? So we talked about it for a while. To me, it was cool. It was scary, but it was cool. But to her, she was like, she was like terrified, like pretty scared, right? Pretty shook up. So, that's not the end of it though. So like that was the only time that I ever seen it and that she ever seen it. But the weird thing is like on two different occasions, like I was at the jail, right? And one night I was talking to this dude, this white CO that I used to work with. He was a pretty cool dude. He was in the Air Force, and like I've said in most, a lot of my videos, I'm former military. I was in the Army. But anyway, they ain't got shit to do with anything. But anyways, we were working together, and we just started talking about paranormal stuff because I think it was like around October, and I started telling him about that story, and no shit, Right as soon as I started telling him about that story, he goes, "Wait a minute." He goes, "Is that in?" He named my hometown, and he goes, "Is it on this street?" And he named the street, and I was like, "Yeah, how the fuck did you know?" I said, You're not from Chandler, are you?" He's like, "No." He's like, "My wife was driving through there late at night one night, and she told me she seen a man run out in front of her car, but it was like a ghost or a spirit. That's what it looked like to her." I was like, "Are you fucking serious, dude?" And he's like, "Yeah." So instantly, like we were like right there. Like my story had 100% credibility because his own wife had told him that she saw that shit, like totally separate from my story. And so we were like kind of like tripping, just like, damn, that's nuts, bro. And then so another time, I was working a unit that I've talked about before. It's like the unit where they have the detainees that are like like on like really strong psych meds and stuff, and like sometimes they'll have them like on suicide watch. So I was sitting in there on a suicide watch watching my inmate, and then there was an older guy sitting next to me watching his suicide watch that was like in the cell right next door. And I don't remember this guy's name, but he was an older guy, like probably like in his 60s. And I mean, he was probably retired from a couple other jobs. And we just like got to talking, and somehow or another, again, we got on the subject of paranormal stuff, probably because I like to bring that shit up a lot. And I started to tell him, I swear, again, I started to tell him about the same story, and he stopped me again, right, just like the other CO did, and he goes, "Wait, is this on such and such in, right, just north of Ocotillo?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "How the fuck did you know?" And he's like, "Because I used to carpool with the Mexican guy, because he's an older white guy that I was talking to." He goes, "I used to carpool with the Mexican guy, and every time we drove through that fucking part of the road, he used to do this number. He used to do the sign of the cross." And he said, finally one day I asked him, "Hey man, why the fuck you do that every time we pass through that part of the road?" And he says, "Because a long time ago, like I think it was maybe like in the 50s or 60s, he said some guy was running across the road and got hit by a car or a truck and killed him. And, now a lot of people, at night, will see his spirit running across the road, you know?" And I was just like, holy shit. I was like, "Yeah, man, that's 100% true, man." So that was a trip too, because I had another person, confirming my story and my experience and what wifey's seen too, and what, a lot of people in my hometown have seen, on that street. And so like, yeah, man, it was just a trip, but it was really cool to talk to some other people that have independently heard that story and know people that have experienced it, or seen it or whatever. But anyway, I hope you guys like that story. Don't forget to hit like. Don't forget to subscribe. And, I'll be coming out with some more of my paranormal experiences throughout this whole month. So I hope you guys like them, because some of them are pretty scary, like scared the shit out of me. And I don't do no more of that paranormal investigating of any type anymore. And a couple of my stories, of experiences will probably explain why. But anyway, that's it for now. Till the next video, your homie Big Cisco. Peace.